inú rogbó lóko. Bójá tìyá iṣẹ́ ń yá mi wéré-wéré. Bójá tọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ kó lè dẹ̀hín lọ́rùn. Bójá tìtọ̀ náà ọ̀pẹ o. Ọ̀pẹ ní sórí èkùrọ́ orí àkó. Èkùrọ́ orí àkó amóhùnyè kóróró. Àkọ́kọ́ dáyé ni ó ti jáwé ọlá. Àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dáyé ni ó ti jáwé àtọ́ o. Kókókó là ń gbọ́ nílé àárọ̀.
Ẹni bá wá wò sẹ́jú dàkọ̀ ni.
Yóò bá létí omi.
Okay. All right, so what you've just said was the curation of, you know, I don't know. We're just, you know, just relishing those videos while they were coming one after the other. And, you know, it's I don't know. I really don't know what to say, because I know that at a particular point in time, it will come to a time that these same songs will come up and maybe my children will ask, what did we just see? Or who are those that we just saw? But then while we're just saying those things, I could still resonate with a couple of the lyrics of those music. But so that's why today we're taking a look at the future of indigenous music, of course, Nigerian indigenous music. And of course, we do have a guest in the house today, whom together we'll be taking a look at this particular topic. Join us this morning to welcome Otumba Femi Davies. He's a media executive. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you very much
today. And you know, while that music was, or those music were going on, I did comment that it'll get to a point where these music will not even make sense to certain generations, maybe it would even be up to 2 generations after now, because at the moment a lot of what they listen to do not even connect at the same level that we do have. So I'm going to ask you this. If we're talking about Nigerian indigenous music and what we have today, did we miss it at any point?
We did not.
Okay.
Music is universal.
Right.
And so it comes with its own relative context. Your culture, your tradition. So when you say indigenous, you are talking about the culture
of a certain
people.
Right.
And when you now look at the opportunity of projecting, communication is through language. Once we move into the Ramadan season, even the TV stations, the radio stations, the direction of the music changes. When we move towards Easter, the direction of the music changes.
To even match up with the mood of the town.
If there's a political situation, the mood of the musicians will change too, towards direction of the political class.
Right.
So it's just like an evolution that will continue to happen.
Right.
It's easy to sit down and say, we're losing our culture, no. It's only those who don't understand that change is inevitable.
Right, it's the only constant
That's
thing.
it.
Okay.
Now, there must be deliberate efforts from the practitioners to ensure that what I'm practicing, what I'm doing, does not go into extinct.
Right.
If you want to go through my profile, I've spent half of my professional life as an analog journalist, where you need to take off cuts, write stories. One man will be in one dark place to type.
Right.
It's not the journalist that will type. That's why you say
want to write.
The pen is mightier than the sword. So you write, you give it to him, he will look at it and tell you that that's where the gatekeeping theory comes from.
Right.
This 75 paragraph that you have written,
it cannot go.
It can't go. So it will suppress his own. You now bring a black and white photograph. Somebody goes to the litho room, cover his head with a lot of rishi and all that. So it's like saying media spread and information. What's the future?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Evolution.
The evolution. Right. It must happen.
Okay.
How prepared are we? Because now you can drop one 5-minute song and you become a multimillionaire. Right. In those days, all the people that we watch on video, on TV now, will tell you their label is ripping them off.
Right.
But we're now in the digital era. So in going towards that evolution, how are we sure that we are withholding certain elements that must not go into extinction?
Right.
So when you say indigenous, it means that our own practice, our own definition of music is being protected. Talking drum, akube, all this omele, sakara, anyway, the pattern of singing too. If you ask me, and Ashake is singing like a Fuji artist. Nice was actually a Fuji artist.
Yes.
So the new generation now, they're coming with education. So going that traditional may not be their thing.
Right.
A barrister will go into the studio with 25 proverbs, heavily laden.
Right.
Some of them packaged for the enemies. Our fathers then will bring their radio to the door of the entrance of their room. So now play it.
Just
Weekend is using me.
I'm not fighting with you, but I have a tool.
All of you in this house.
You will
all
not
my
rest.
enemy. So that one will be playing this. Even in bus stops, we stay there, we wait. If you want to buy a new song, you wait, you listen.
This one, there's a...
Oh yeah, bring two, bring. So, but now you don't need to go anywhere. The whole world is now in our hands.
Right.
So it is about what do we want to project. The international when we now say is Sena climb, they package themselves, they are ready. The bulk of everybody wanting to japa is on the physical things that we have seen in movies, in documentaries, that makes it like a big deal.
Right.
If I look at pictures of when my own dad went abroad, he was taking pictures in malls, like Ikeja Mall. You believe that so many people are going to abroad?
Ikeja Mall, yeah, to take pictures.
In front of a Gucci store and all that. That's abroad.
Right.
Tarred roads and lights.
At least you
And
can
once
see
in
behind
a while, snow. That's the only thing that we don't have here.
Right.
Every other thing is now here. So going to when they say they are going to watch movies in a bigger screen, we are still going to National Theatre. The heat is there and all that. So we have everything resolved. Music is part of life.
Right.
But if you want a serious violence spread in a country,
Use music.
stop music. Just say no music, no TV, no radio, no listen to me. You will see that everybody will fight. Because it has its own soothing and calmness and all that. Then you have a child, you want to do naming ceremony. You will not bring Zazu to now jumping on the rooftop. You build a house or you buy a house, you want to declare it open. You know what to do. So when you call the affairs to sit down, you know the kind of music that they will listen to. So it is not under any serious threat.
Okay.
The only thing missing is how prepared are the practitioners, then how professional do they want to go, how are they going to embrace that change? Because it gets to a time that, look at movie production, it has gotten...
Now everybody is going to the cinemas.
Because there is increase in cinema viewing centers.
Right.
So you can imagine that in Lagos, you produce a movie and you have opportunity of 1,500 different places to exhibit. It gives you more money.
Right.
Before, in the whole of Lagos, maybe here,
How many rights?
and the National Theatre and Penn Cinema. So when you look at the limitation, it will affect. But now, rather than produce 200 movies in a week, that you go to a Dumata and buy CD, they are now going for the cinemas.
Yes.
Even the premiere itself is becoming a whole entertainment on its own.
A whole competition.
Now you have an advance, because before we just look for one hall, put one Fuji or Juju artist there, say they are premiering a film that we don't watch. At the end of the day, now they use the cinema.
Yeah.
So it is a movement that whether you like it or not, it will happen.
Okay,
But seriously, the indigenous music is not under any threat.
Okay, because my question again, I really like that you mentioned the likes of Ashake and Nice still doing something indigenous. So maybe from what you've said, you have said that indigenous music is not under threat. But again, when you look at the global trend, the style of global music,
Yes.
is it not in some way a threat to indigenous music?
Okay, I'll give you another good news. When you say global, if they want to categorize, or look at classification of 10 top artists global, I can guarantee that 5 of Nigerian artists will be there.
We are doing well.
And that's global.
Global.
Yeah.
Nigerian artists are there. Look at the way we now get nominations on Grammy. It's not about winning.
Right.
That is the best of the best. First among equals will take the trophy. But you are already
You made it.
in a global stage. And they've limited us by calling it Afrobeat. If they have left us, you understand, the Sakara kind of musicians can go for R&B musicians. You understand? So now they put, even if you are a gospel artist and your album is everywhere in the world, you are still under that category of Afrobeat. So it is what is stolen from us. Now,
Refined or
Yes.
repackaged.
Talking drum is now programmed.
Right.
All these beats I was talking about, they are now programmed.
you can
So
go
that
into
because
the
we don't see
studio.
a tribal mark person putting on
An iron.
this, so we think that that's not there again. No.
Right.
We are the one teaching them music. Don't forget that slave trade actually made them develop all the things that the slaves were doing there. That was what they saw. And they created something out of it from our clothing, from even the tattoo and all that. They learned all that from us.
Okay.
So it is when the owner does not know how to tell his story
That other
that
people
somebody will
tell
now
it
come and narrate.
model it up.
Mango Park discovered the sea route to Abi. The locals who took him there, what were they?
Right.
Who discovered? Who actually discovered? You went to somewhere and say, "I'm
And
going
they took
to
you there.
Yanopaja."
So was
The
he not
man
there
who-
before you
so
got
now,
there?
because there's no record, so
Right.
somebody now calls himself the creator.
I mean, the fantastic route you've taken us through this morning, and the fact that there has to be documentation, there has to be ownership, and there
Yes.
has to be deliberate effort.
Deliberate.
And so, if we really do not want some of these things to die, or some of these things to not be credited to us as the indigenous owners of these things, how do we begin? Because now the practitioners are there. We also are the off takers, because we are the ones who listen to this music. So where is that collaboration? How do we all come together to ensure that we begin to demand more from the industry players? Because again, if they are churning out what is not proper or what is not useful to us, because sometimes you listen to some of these things and you're wondering, what are they talking about, or what are they saying? And so how much of being deliberate can we all be at ensuring that as much as technology is helping project some of these things, they're also in the right direction?
Very good direction. Sometimes I look at, we all push responsibilities to the government.
Right.
When oil became the in thing in the world, if you discover oil where we are, government is taking over this place now. I'm not sure that anything is bringing in income to government, to this country after oil, that is bigger than entertainment and our music,
Right.
movies. I remember a government said at the end of the year, they looked at a figure in billions
Right.
that came in. And they're like, this thing is not in the budget, it's not expected. Where is this money coming from? And say it was Nollywood and the musicians.
Right.
Because when they go abroad to perform, they are taxed.
Right.
When they come back, they throw this money here and all that. So the president then was Jonathan, was like, if we didn't put 1 naira into this industry and it's fetching us billions,
Then why don't we invest in it?
That's it. So that was where the back of industry and all that came into the picture. Now, government must be the lead.
Okay.
That is one. Two, the musicians too need to organize themselves. They have the bodies, but it's not harmonized. It's not,
The
everybody's just
coordination is not
doing,
there.
yes. But like the right society now, collecting for right for royalties and all that.
Right.
Industry stakeholders must now talk. Because I have a 7-year-old, 6-year-old boy, that's some music that I cannot be comfortable playing when he's in the car
around
with me,
him.
even
True.
and if he comes from school and he's singing certain things, I'll just
You're
tell him,
wondering,
where do you get that from?
when you are
They
not
will-
even playing
They
it.
will get because some of this, where this who's your guy, my boy will
Spyro.
sing it. because you said, Daddy, you know you are my guy. I was like, okay, that's positive.
Right.
But he knows the lyrics. So what the other ones that is not relevant to sing to me?
At 6.
Yes, that he knows. Because most of the, like when I was younger, I grew up in Festac. So there's no way I can listen to Fuji or Juju.
Right.
But I had a cousin staying with us who plays that thing from morning till night. So subconsciously,
You will start singing.
that's what I know.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I got to school, I'm the only one that will be playing those kind of music. We're like, what kind of local person is this and all that. So the way we pick,
Right.
I remember that every December, if I don't have that song from my mom, it means that December has not come. Or don't lost so you know. So you will know that. That's why I said our mood, our culture, the templates. It was a time in Nigeria that we were dancing makosa.
Yeah.
You understand? But if you want to find out, it was the TV stations that were playing the music.
Video, right.
So even when they want to interpret, it's French. So
Right.
somebody is speaking in the language you don't understand.
Yeah,
and
but
they're
you are
putting-
dancing.
and they're communicating.
Right.
So if those, even in Togo, even in Benin Republic, as undeveloped, you can excuse my language, as Nigeria is supposed to, because when you look at it, we are the entertainment hub of Africa. South Africa was there before, but now we've taken care of all that one. Channel O is no more any big deal. We're now on bet. We're now talking about international.
MTV Base,
So
all those.
our music is going everywhere it should go.
Right.
What we should be concerned is what you have raised, the content and the context. Because it will come to a time I watched an interview that Portable was saying that some children who don't know the video and Wizkid, but tell them Zazu, they know him. That should be a red flag.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because the next generation are even they are cut off from us. They are not listening to us. They have something in their ear permanently. You don't even know what they are listening to.
True.
No measurement,
And that's
no nothing.
dangerous.
Okay, so this will lead me to my next question. So we are still talking about the future of Nigerian indigenous music. I don't know, was it you that said something well before we came on air that if the Gen Zs now, when they hear barista, they'll be wondering.
Who is that one?
So how then do we ensure that while preserving this indigenous music, it is up?
So, well, like you asked, I believe that those music, as they are developing, they are changing to something else. The originality may be lost. But do you know what is happening? Even the Gen Z that you're talking about are taking lines.
From listen to.
Where's the time?
Right.
Well, and meanwhile, how many musicians were having albums that time? So you can, in your car, you could probably have 4. So now, even on your drive,
Right.
you can have 2,000
loads.
music. So
Right.
there's no time. The time that's still 24 hours is not enough for this generation.
Right. We have some of these, like we would consider them the indigenous artists that are still singing at the moment. Of course, we still have King Sunny Ade. We still have, we still have Wasiu Ayinde Marshall. We have Pasuma. And we've also realized that one way or the other, they are also ensuring that they balance what they are churning out there, even with what can resonate with the younger generation.
Now, let me tell you what you have not connected.
Okay.
This older generation, they are busier than
The younger generation.
Yes.
Okay, so they are busier in terms of live plays, is that it?
Is music not about performance?
So again, I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's why there's still a hook
On
between
them.
our culture
Yes.
and the music that we demand for.
So if we are still big
Yes.
on live performances,
Yes.
because like you mentioned earlier, we have naming ceremony, you call them, you have this, you call them
Housewarming.
housewarming. So it means that we are still
Birthdays.
very big on live
Weddings.
performances
Yes.
as against studio recording.
Of course.
And so, but this generation, they are not big on live performances because they also believe on the
Studio
mixes already.
Let's look at 3 generations. The King Sunny Ade class,
Right.
the Then when we fought, this revolution started with Two-Face generation and all
Yeah,
that,
they're-
remedies. They are different from the one we're talking about now.
Definitely.
Now-
Even the one we are talking about, they are even in two already.
Now, do you know that Two-Face, Nice, D'banj, Burna Boy, Davido, check the performances now. It's live band.
Or live band.
Yes,
Okay.
it's live. It may limit the number of times they will perform because they charge well. Those who back them up get paid in foreign currencies.
Right.
But watch it very well. You may not see what you are used to is a typical display of crowd.
Yes, and
by
then they-
Fela
and
and
then miming back.
Kuti.
Okay, yes, okay.
We start put
Control
four
the
people,
band,
vocal,
yes.
4 this way, another. They might be hidden somewhere, but they are there.
Right.
Check.
Okay.
Because they've discovered that when I said those Two-Face generations, they started with DJ track 4. And DJ will play track 2. It will have problem. But we
Because
don't-
they cannot admit to that.
so then when we're doing in-bar shows, we're performing in bars, singing, small clubs and all that, they don't need a crowd.
Yes.
But now they are doing mega concerts.
True.
I won't imagine you seeing a poster saying Wizkid is going to perform at Quilos.
Right.
Well, as you see that.
At all.
So when by December, the 30th December,
Yes, they
you
will
will
pack
see
up the
all of them.
concerts. Right.
They use live band. It's ridiculous to come on stage alone. I'm looking like a Damara just. You understand that? But you will know that it is not. You may not notice, but industry watchers somehow, I don't know how the conversation started.
Right.
Somebody, it just became a challenge, and they will now tell you, okay, pay me this for live performance. But if you want me to do track, people just say,
Let's do the live performance.
and they have enough
crowd.
catalog
Okay.
of
so-
music.
Right.
A Two-Face can do a 24-hour performance of his songs alone.
At a live performance.
Same for D'banj, same for Nice.
Right.
So forget those flash in the car. They will just come and have you watched what's this guy's name now? Chris Daniel.
Okay.
You will see him that he performs with his band. What he
Yeah.
sings on stage is different from
What he
you
does
listen
in
at
his
home.
album, right? And I think Adekunle Gold is also
All of
in
them.
that genre.
All of them. We are not just conscious of it.
Of what they do.
It's just easy for you to say, we are going to lose favor. We are not to know. That's why I said it's a good news. I mean, it may come strange to people that what is this guy talking about, but check.
Sorry, Joy, just to, because you mentioned Damaraya of Jos, and it will take me to that side of town.
Yes.
Because we're very conscious here in the Southwest, and it looks like we're also very particular about ensuring that. And it's even, you would find largely some of even non-Yoruba speaking artists would be deliberate in speaking Yoruba, a bit of Yoruba in their music. Are people outside the Yoruba speaking area also making that conscious effort? Because you mentioned Damaraya Jos, and of course, if we take a look at Oliver de Coke and
Pope.
Chimezie also in the Southeast,
Yes.
are those regions also, still following that pattern?
They do.
I know you mentioned
The
flavor.
Eastern, I even have another one that will
Okay.
be shocked. The Eastern answer to our Olamide there was not favor.
It was who?
I don't forget. I just remember the same. Anyway,
Fino.
Oh, okay.
It sings more on Igbo language.
True.
Flavor sings English more. But Fino stood with the Igbo crowd.
Right.
But we took him. Because once you bring your whatever you're coming from your village, once you get to Lagos,
We will own you. We will own you.
You
Okay.
understand? So look at, I will sing, Father, do I know what to say? Do you understand that? But if I'll tell you it's a favorite song that I love.
Okay, right.
When Olamide goes to the east, if he drops all his dust, do you think Nigerians see Davido as a Yoruba guy?
They see him as a Nigerian. Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, why they will all do Yoruba in their songs is because that is the most populated language
Okay.
in Africa. Quote me.
In Africa.
There are,
well-
you see, when you say Yorubas, that is where we limit ourselves.
Right.
We are descendants of Ududua. In Ivory Coast,
Yes. A part of
descendants
you.
of Oduduwa are there. They are not speaking Yoruba language.
Like we do here.
No.
So what do they speak?
They call
There's
it
a mix.
Anogo.
Okay, so it's a mixture.
If you go to Benin
Republic,
Republic,
yes.
it's not the kind of Oyo,
that we-
Yoruba that we
Yeah.
call
speak.
Yoruba. Now, you and I, we are conversing in English. If we find ourselves in BBC now, they will say we have,
Tonation.
yes.
Because
But
we're not
that we speak English, does it make us England or English people?
Right.
So Yoruba is just a language, you understand, of a particular tribe.
Right.
But when you go to Brazil, there are descendants of Oduduwa there.
Sure.
If you go to anywhere in the
Cuba
world,
is also
you have descendants. They are not speaking our Yoruba, but they have traced themselves.
to the roots.
You understand? If you have listened to Michael Jackson, he calls a group Odum, which has been traced to Olodumare.
Oh, okay.
If that's where they sing, they don't care. If you go and listen to
don't
the lyrics
care.
of, all I want to say is that they don't give a
really
damn
care
about us.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's how our music impacted on Michael Jackson.
Right.
And it was right then that he wanted to come to that
That's
African
nature,
consciousness.
right.
I won't say he died when he wanted to die. That's another conspiracy on its own.
Okay, let's look at some of the challenges that indigenous musicians are facing.
The basic initially is the equipment. Even money. You want to, like, let's say you want to even sustain a Sakara band. That means you have band boys that whether you perform or not, you have to pay them.
To pay them.
Because if you have anything else that they are doing. Some have gone haywire. So a cultural band will take his team outside Nigeria. He will come back alone. Because he will not continue to suffer the way they've been suffering.
Right.
So equipment, studio equipment for proper rehearsals, creative timing. Now, songwriters were there for them, King Sunny Ade. They have friends who compose songs for them. The modern day songwriters would rather go and sell their music to Olamide or D'banj or any of those popular ones than to sit down and create something for the old generation.
Okay.
So what are those ones relying on? What they sang then.
In past
So
past
just
glory.
come. Don't, you won't waste your time.
Right.
Chino Peters just come on stage. Sing this ace.
He's a
sing
show.
this, by the time he sings 4 albums, you will go home.
And you'll be happy.
You'll be dancing like this. Yeah, that guy is good.
Okay.
You know?
Let's quickly also touch on something that maybe perhaps we'll find an answer to that today. And that's the fact that, you know, with the people of, you know, that generation, there's always this battle of supremacy where everybody will say, okay, I am the king of Fuji, I am the king of Juju. And only recently did we also hear about this altercation between Kollington Ayinla and, of course, Wasiu Ayinde, where Kollington Ayinla vehemently said, until he's dead, he will remain the king of Fuji music. So is this about supremacy, or should everybody just sing this song and let everybody just be happy?
So let's say, like, the truth of matter is that music is emotion.
Okay.
It's 100% emotion. Somebody is singing, you choose to love that person. It's emotion. It's like you want to follow Arsenal for whatever reason. Your daddy was not Arsenal fan.
Okay.
And you'll be fighting your friends.
Just because of this.
Just that. You play a match, you call everybody.
No, wow.
No. Yeah, no. You know what I'm saying? That's music.
Right.
So when you say Fuji, there are different kind of people singing
attached to
various kind of Fuji classification. I've mentioned it before. When you don't own, when you don't have your own story, by the time now the issues are now hot because we're now in digital era. You can revert back to what somebody said and all that, so you can counter. Before, even newspaper that will report entertainment is the weekend or the coming week. Something will happen on Monday. So if a Kollington talks on Monday,
you wait till the weekend to break it.
So even if I now to, the way it will be hot, by the time you now ask me again. But the truth of the matter is that it's a passing stage. And like I said, music is part of our culture. So the internal fight is typical.
Right.
It is typical.
And it's part of
because
the game.
it's emotion.
Right.
He has confessed. Somebody close to late Barrister confessed that both of them will sit down and say, they are Maburawa, so that people will buy.
Oh, really?
It's a tactic.
But at least I remember that there was an interview then that Alhaji, late Sikiru Ayinde Barrister, said Kollington went overboard.
In the
You understand? That game. Well, what people do? I was there, you know, in White House Hotel. They were going to do a performance for somebody, and they're like, able to change you know, so you know that sometimes that's even
it's like
when you
a
say
marketing
the beef,
strategy.
it's in hip hop too. It's in this new generation too. They have just taken their own overboard to when they beat themselves on the street. It's the fans then that fights on their behalf and all that. So, but it's emotion, just like I said.
Okay.
If Kollington says his own, you know he's talking from point of emotion. When K1 replied to him, it was from point of emotion. But the followers, you understand, the person and for Arsenal cannot be wrong. Because Chelsea cannot be wrong. That's so whether he's saying the truth, the minute you see that they come together, then the Lord come to that industry.
Right.
Do you understand?
Okay.
They are not singing now. But if Barrister sings Fuji Garbage Series 1, 2, 3, Kollington will come and say, so when he said that he went to America, he lost one of his band boys. Kollington travel came back and said, nobody
went
lost,
missing.
So
we came back complete.
We were not going up and looking up and down. So it was just to entertain us.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But I believe now that anything anybody says now is going to the archives and representing history. So that's why there must be spontaneous reaction.
Okay.
You cannot say my head is not correct when I know that my head is correct. So I don't need to come and show the head. I just need to talk like somebody whose head
is actually correct. Okay.
So where do you see the future of Nigerian indigenous music in the next 10 years?
10 years. It's going to be more urban. Do you understand? Do you know how we appreciate somebody like Nice? Because he was singing 100% Yoruba. Deep. That not even the non-Lagos Yoruba.
I remember I schooled in Enugu and I used to play Gbamu Gbamu Jigi Jigi. And I had Igbo girls that really liked the song, even though they didn't understand
what it was. Right.
So
I really liked it.
The language of the Yoruba that we're talking about now is going through its own evolution. We are not using the old Yoruba. So the same thing will happen. You know, but what I know is that our culture will sustain a lot of them from going into extinction. They may not call it the same genre of music that we know it as. Because I can't remember, I remember when there was High Life that transited to maybe what them KSA and co. The ones before them were sitting down to sing.
Okay.
KSA stood everybody
because
up.
But maybe because he also played the guitar when he started.
He used guitar to mesmerize and all that. I remember Kollington brought some these electric drums to Fuji. Barrister was just
his own is dancing.
Energy. Too much energy. You know, so it will continue to evolve like that, and people will continue to pick their choice. Just like I said, when you have serious things to do, and which are serious things that are happening every day, naming, housewarming, graduation, you go back to your real element. You understand? So for those who just sing for now, they won't have any green record, evergreen music. You understand? So then they know that they have to, because now it's even sad that this Gen Z, the album that they released 3-4 years ago, when you now listen to it, you say, it's old school. How can that be old school? What do you now call? Or somebody says he cannot sing because he's now old. How many years in the industry? When a King Sonny had this, she performs every weekend. I called for a booking in October.
He's booked already.
That if it's next year from March, this is May. You understand? So that's why I said they are busier than those ones you are talking about.
Because again, they are class. So, I mean, and you'll know that certain people would want a KSA for his or her events because they know that they cannot, anybody can, I mean, it's not everybody who can afford.
I know people who say they are 40 now. They are keeping some money for his 50th birthday, 70th birthday. Some people write in their will that when they die,
Bring KSA.
must come out. You understand? So those are the things that give me. Initially, I would have, maybe if I didn't have the opportunity to know what we're going to discuss, I would share the general opinion. That industry is gone. But I took time to reflect, and I'm like, no.
But so from what we've discussed today, are you this generation or this current crop of talents, musicians, do they sit back and reflect on the lessons from some of these olders in code with the view that sometime in the future they also could be a reference point, like we're referencing the likes of KSA, the likes of Oshupa, the likes of Pasuma in their own genre today? Are they making conscious effort in that line at all?
Sadly, no.
They're not.
Number one, some of them just have this stardom.
Yeah, fame, just quest for fame.
For the wrong things. Do you understand? Somebody can just say one word and it becomes a slang, and the person is a celeb. And he now look at what can I do? Okay, let me try music. And he says one or two things. Now comedians have become musicians. Do you understand? So these people you're talking about, they, one, underwent
Trainings?
not training. When you say training is like
Is too
when you go wake up in the morning and go to somebody's house.
mentorship in their own.
Exactly.
Right.
If a King Sunday is performing publicly, maybe in a concert, 10% of the audience will be musicians who want to
Understudying this man.
But this crop, do they rehearse? Do they even know what they are singing?
They just flow with the
They
beat.
just, once this my piano has spoiled everything. So once something comes like that, and
They just freestyle.
Inspiration.
that's the hook.
Ooh, keep it there.
Just leave it like that.
Keep it
So
there.
who are the ones producing them? If you remember people like Uncle Laulu
Akins.
you know, there are Decca Studio that time. There are people who, that's where they sit down.
The
they will tell
Babel
you
shows.
and co. So who are those people? So
Producers.
they can only produce what they know now. Because once social media drops a line, and that's where they are going. Jago, everything. They will now go to TikTok. Those ones are another set of musicians are there.
Another set of musicians
are there.
entirely. All right, Joy, do you have a final question before we wrap up the... No? Okay,
But
before...
are you convinced,
That.
based on what we have discussed now, that there's future?
Yes, there is. Just like as you have said, that it will keep evolving. So
will.
it might not be like what we are used to, but I just don't want us to lose that touch.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it must be deliberate and conscious effort here. I was just going to say that before we allow you go, because again you have an idea of what happens in this industry so much. Can we also begin to have some of these artists themselves mentor deliberately some of these younger?
They won't go to them.
They have to come to them.
You don't understand?
Yes, but are they open?
See, there's no way young students will come to you that will watch you on TV. You will be happy to impact.
Right.
They're not going to be in competition with you.
True. No.
You will have those you looked up to that made you become what you are.
Right.
I remember that I had a friend in secondary school. His brother studied mass comm in Poly. Now brought the association boss to the house. Then I wrote Association of Mass Communication Students. I would not like mass communication. What's that one? When you say communication, remember that even earlier radio stations have engineers as GM.
Right.
Everybody believes it's one engineering thing. So the answer said, no, mass comm is media, blah, 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 blah. It took time to explain that to us. That's how it automatically became my mentor.
Right.
And I started looking forward. Today, my mentor is the current Olota of Water, Professor Obalanlege. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, he won't have come to me to say I want to, because I will now.
You went to him.
I went.
Right. And
But
so you're here saying
we
that
are- we
if
now
they
have-
go to them, they are open.
They will be open.
impact.
They will naturally be open.
Okay.
What stage you want to set up a music school? Worst case, or training school, or whatever. But you must come. You want to learn. Come. King Sunny Ade will tell you the number of bigger artists that he followed. When I say follow, you will hear his performance also place. You will go there. Take time to want to research.
Okay.
Take now all these things. They don't even need to travel. Sit down on your phone. You should be able to put a lot of things together about people. You don't need to have access to them again.
Okay.
Everything is on in there. But this, what I'm saying is that they're not even doing the 24-hour thing the way we did it. That we wake up in the morning, walk, in the evening, night, then you go and rest. That time you are resting is
They
the
are
time they are
working.
active.
They are
So when
working.
do you want to go and meet one mentor? They want mentor to come and mentor them 2 a.m. when they already have so many alcohol in their system.
Okay.
There are so many other things.
Right.
The notorious ones then will look at an Orlando Owo. Yet, what he will bring out, you understand what to say? A fella and Nicola Kwo, see what he was bringing out. Yet, because our mothers will not like us.
Yeah, you can't go near
You
those
can't do
places.
those.
You can't go to the to the
Do you
shrine.
understand
You
what I'm
can't go
saying?
there.
But if you say, I went to a show at King Sunny Ade or Ebenezer,
Dignity, you know, some kind of
so they are there.
dignity.
But these ones, they are not. They have two lives. That's why there are so many two faces among us. When they are high, that's when they go to the studio.
To the studio.
So when I clear,
Then
Nothing.
like, not no.
nothing. It will not connect.
Okay. Ultimate Femi Davies, thank you so much for finding time to be
My
with us on the
pleasure.
program today. But finally, before you go, is King Sunny Ade, is he okay? Is it well? Contrary to what had gone on.
No, it's not contrary. Okay, let me put it as decent as I can put it. Since you do 30 years, 40 years, I have a way of catching up with you. This is a polygamous environment issue.
Right.
It's now with you. I want to have access to him.
Right.
My mom and your mom are not friends. Will the child allow you to?
To be my friend.
Do you understand? He's going to kill you. So now, the man needs to rest.
Okay.
He needs peace. Everybody needs peace. And he will stay where he finds peace.
Right.
Unlike our own grandfathers who have timetable. We know that this is where he
Hey,
will go on Monday. We know where he will be on.
Okay.
He has performances. He's busy. And he needs to rest.
Okay.
So it was an alarm
Right.
that I cannot reach my dad
Right.
over a period. Everybody, because it happened to me too. I needed him to confirm a date. I couldn't reach him.
Okay.
I was constantly talking to Dayo.
Right.
Because I'm not King Sunny Ade's son.
True.
He will listen to me. I'm talking business.
Right.
But the child that is after his father, what will come to the guy's head, she wants to collect money. She wants to make demands. And as you grow older, you're like, I'm so person's son or daughter. You cannot be at this level now. Your father is everywhere. So go and.
Yeah, meeting.
So musically, it's fine. He still performed yesterday.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
But for all those ones that are private issues, that should be left private.
private,
If they didn't
right.
bring it public.
Nobody would have
So,
known.
but out of concern, we had to blow it up.
Right.
So that we need to, because again, anything could have gone wrong.
True.
And nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
So when we came out with the video, we saw him. And he said, I'll be at so place to perform. And he
And he
performed.
was there. Okay,
No issue.
Shikena. So that's it. Thank you so much for finding
Thank
time
you.
to be with
Very
us
fine.
on the
It's okay.
program today. We appreciate you. Right, so that's the much we take on this segment of the show. We take a quick break. When we return, part 2 of the conversation will be here.